this evening.
Favorite time of the week, Trent.
It is, I really do. I mean, not that I don't adore compiling multiple points of data on procedure codes. I mean, it's sustaining. I will tell you that.
You've become an analyst. That's what it is. It's the game.
Anyway, I truly do look forward to Between the Chairs. Here we are in March, the first Thursday of March. We're going to follow this up on March 18th. And Andrew, I really think this is a real show. I just want you to know, I don't like call it a call like we're on, I'm on a call or I'm on a meeting. I really treat this as a show, and I hope it does. Over the years, it sustains that and picks up its momentum, because it's such another great touch point for our dentists and our teams to really understand the cultural aspects and even some clinical excellence that we like to bring to this show twice a month. So here we are in season 2 episode, well, we canceled one, so it's episode 5. But we're going for every other Thursday until the end of 2021, unless from unforeseen circumstances. Now, to kick things off, you can hear in the background, you were kind of teasing a little bit, but listen closely. Now, I know in 1979, you stated you were 1 and I was 12. So I was very excited because the Pittsburgh Pirates of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania won the World Series. And the leader of that team was the late, great Willie Stargell. He represents the Pirates in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. He really gave a lot to the community. But what got me thinking was, today, I'm in Florida. Spring training is all around us. The Phillies are right down the street. The New York Yankees are downtown Tampa. And of course, my beloved Pirates are over in Bradenton, about 45 minutes from where I sit. And I was thinking about, we are family, and the last time we won a World Series. And it really got me thinking about the NADG family, and not just our work families, but our families. And I kind of compiled a little list here, and try to follow me with this tonight, Dr. Matta. First of all, not many people know, or they probably do know, that you have your brother John, our most tenured dentist in North American Dental Group. He does all the work on my family. So it's great that you guys get to work. There's some family. Of course, the Hamptons down in Georgia, Travis and his wife, representing us too. And I know I'm going to miss some because I compiled a quick list. Alex and Ash, work hand in hand, do great leadership stuff for us, not only in Georgia, but throughout the rest of our regions. And I almost missed the Kizzies in Michigan, right? You have Mason, you have Linda, and you have Nick, that is a younger dentist that is on his path to partnership. Of course, Doug and Scott Voyers, right, in Cleveland. They just came in. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention across Florida, you have Dr. Majib and his daughter, Sumaya, which just joined us last year out of dental school, and she went through Doctor Infusion and all that and doing wonderful. But really, when you start to think about family at North American
You've
Dental
got
Group,
2 more. I'm not going to let you miss. You got Ed and Mimi, although they are
I'm coming.
You're not done. Okay.
I'm not done. I got 2 more, and if I miss any, you can fill them in. But I wanted to pinpoint right here at the end. Of course, my dear friend, Dr. Ed Eves and Mimi, right, being the first female partner that joined us over in upstate New York. And of course, I get to work with Dr. Ed quite a bit. And now you can add it on, but I'm going to segue into, Farah's family. And who did I miss?
No, you got it. Those were the 2. Those were the ones I was making sure.
I'm going to finish with, Dr. Carr, and her sister is also a dentist. And of course, her brother, Frank. So this really got us thinking. We're like, okay, family, women in history. Let's bring on Dr. Carr, ortho extraordinaire. We'll bring on a fellow dentist from Georgia, Dr. Destiny Isbell, which is in the GP, and she's in our implant mastery track. She's being mentored by Dr. Hampton, just doing a wonderful job. So we thought, in the spirit of history, in the spirit of women, in the spirit of wind, right, women in dentistry, let's really focus on that. Now, I did a little research, and before I throw it over to you, we're actually right on time, Dr. Matta. I love mapping things out. And I went to womenshistorymonth.gov, And just a quick little quote from the beginning of the website, and I'll put it down in the chat here later. But Women's History Month. March is Women's History Month. The Library of Congress, National Archives and Records Administration, the National Endowment for the Humanities, the National Art Gallery, National Park Service, Smithsonian Institution, and the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum join in commemorating and encouraging the study, observance, and celebration of the vital role of women in American history. Well, we're here to also notice the vital role of women in North American Dental Group's history. So Dr. Andrew Matta, I know we have to go get to some safety and we have to segue into the rest of the evening, but it is an honor as always to join you on these Thursday evenings. And I would then like to turn it over to you.
Well, thanks for the kickoff. And this tonight is going to be amazing. We have a amazing host and leader. Dr. Carr is going to, bring on a guest with Dr. Destiny, like you indicated, Dr. Isabel, and talk about, what it means to them and being women in the industry. And we're really proud because of the movement that they're doing even within our company. We've launched Women in Dentistry. It's an association that we started within our own NADG to initially kick it off. But we expect that to spread and really help our industry showcase the leadership that women bring into the industry. Of course, our industry is 85% women. It is really led by our women, but we want to make sure that the leadership levels throughout are in balance and that we can just recognize that. And I love the family reference. It was a great twist on just bringing, it's who NADG is. We are a family. We're a unique culture where people partner with us, I'm sure mostly because of the feeling that we get just working and collaborating together and the vision that we all share. And you brought up a lot of really cool examples of families that are dentists that work together within the company. There's also actually a lot of great examples, and we're going to miss a lot of them, of husband and wives that work hand in hand within the practice. I know Dr. Chaffetz and his wife work together in the practice. Jill and Dr. Silverman and his wife work together, Dr. Snodgrass and his wife Melody. So there's a lot of family outside of dentist to dentist working together. And I'm sure there's just a lot of more examples. I know that there's two sisters that work together in our region. So there is a lot of example of personal family, but then the NADG family, it's special, of course, to us, but of course, I'm passionate about the culture, and that's what it feels like when we have our partner meetings. It feels like a big family reunion. So great song and great reference. So jumping in, we'll go ahead and do our general updates and then be able to hand things off to Dr. Carr so she can have a great discussion tonight. And I got to talk to her a little bit leading into tonight, and she just gets, she has so much passion and energy, it's contagious. So I got excited about tonight's session. Rodney, maybe you can join in the update section, and then we can hand it off to them afterwards.
I'm getting an alert that says it may stop other participants' computer sound. So
you're just stopping the music, Rodney. That's all. Go ahead.
Awesome. So good evening, everyone. I really hope everyone has been having a great week so far, and everyone is safe and keeping well during these challenging times. We just have a couple of quick safety updates. Wanted to get in front of this group and make sure that everyone is aware of what those updates are. But before I get started, just want to highlight that all of these updates are found on SharePoint in our coronavirus information hub. So always feel free, if you don't catch everything here, it's always going to be on SharePoint to receive as well.
And also just a reminder to take this and make sure your teams are seeing that SharePoint site and those updates on a regular basis at huddles and at team meetings, et cetera. So please make sure as doctors that you're pointing yourselves or your teams to that to stay current with things.
Yep, awesome. So just a quick reminder about our internal safety campaign, Be Smart. So just want to make sure that we're keeping this top of mind The mnemonic, SMART is really stay home if you're sick, really want to be home, be aware of any symptoms, any COVID-19 symptoms you're experiencing, mask up, still super important regardless if folks are vaccinated or not. Wear a mask when in public, when in the practices. You always want to do the best to keep everyone around you safe. Avoid contact, so stay a minimum of 6 feet away from everyone. This is social distancing to just make sure that we're keeping folks as safe as possible. Report any illnesses that you may be feeling. We still have the protocols inside the practices to do screening for any COVID-19 symptoms. So if someone isn't feeling well, we ask that they stay home until they're feeling well. And then take charge, right? Be smart, be responsible, make smart choices. In a lot of the communications we've been sending out weekly has really been focused on how to make sure that we're making sure that team members are well educated about the information that's made available. So we really want to make sure that folks are still keeping smart and doing the right thing to keep everyone safe during these challenging times. So there are 2 questions I want to review tonight to just make sure that everyone's aware of it. We've gotten a couple of scenarios that presented in the field and just want to make sure that everyone's aware of this. This information will be communicated tomorrow on the Friday ops call. So for those who attend that meeting, please look forward to receiving this information again, but really want to make sure that we had some time to spend and talk through this with this group. So the first question is, if I receive the COVID vaccine and become exposed to someone who is COVID positive, am I required to quarantine still? And so this question has presented itself a couple of times this week. Again, wanted to make sure that it's in front of everyone to make sure everyone's aware. But although vaccines are showing a lot of positive momentum, the CDC is recommending that people who are vaccinated still need to take the necessary precautions to protect themselves and others from COVID. So according to the CDC's guidance, vaccinated people with an exposure to someone with suspected or confirmed COVID-19 are required to quarantine only if they meet these following criteria. So there's 3 criteria required. The individual has been fully vaccinated. So this is greater than 2 weeks following the receipt of the second dose in a 2-dose series, or greater than 2 weeks following the receipt of 1 dose in the single-dose vaccine. I don't think a lot of single-dose vaccines are publicly available to everyone, so most people fall into the 2-dose category. So this means you have to be fully vaccinated after receiving your second dose, and it's been 2 weeks. Are within the 3 months following the receipt of the last dose in the series. Again, this one mentions that you have to be fully vaccinated, so receive the 2 doses. And the last criteria is have maintained asymptomatic status since the current COVID-19 exposure. So from when the person thinks they have been exposed to someone, they have to remain asymptomatic during that period. For people who do not meet all of the above criteria, they should continue to follow the current quarantine guidance after exposure to someone who's been positive. So I think a lot of the scenarios, the 2 scenarios that presented this week, both cases, the team member only received the first vaccine. So this means if you've only received the first vaccine, you're required to follow quarantine guidelines. So hopefully this provides some clarity to the group on how to handle these situations. And then lastly, regardless of vaccine status, everyone must continue to wear facial coverings and masks and practice social distancing for everyone's safety. And this applies to both patients and guests entering the practices as well. So just want to make sure that that's clear to the group. And again, if there's any questions, always feel free to reach out. The second update is around support persons during the pandemic. And this has come up out of just an abundance of caution. This also presented itself recently where there were some concerns about people having support people to support them during their procedure. We don't think that this is sort of going to be a request every day, but at least want to get the guidance out there because we have seen a couple of cases against hospitals and hospital systems where they denied support persons during procedures, and it was not reviewed in their favor. So just want to get this in front of everyone to just make sure they understand. So when a patient presents as needing or wanting a support person to accompany them during their procedure, all of the NADG supported practices must adhere to the following as it relates to support persons during these challenging times. So one support person is allowed to present with the patient in the operatory. The dental office is not responsible for providing a support person. All support persons must follow the safety standard protocols that we have in place. So we have to confirm that they have, that they do not have a suspected or confirmed case of COVID-19. We have to confirm that they have not been exposed to someone with COVID-19. To comply with our screening protocols that we have in the practices. So no one presenting with symptoms are allowed to be a support person. And they must comply with the office protocol regarding face covering and mask and personal protective equipment. So the support person must follow the team's instructions and not hinder delivery of care to the patient. And this is including the X-ray instrumentation. So the major takeaway here is, like, if there's a request from someone in the practice, we do expect that we are able to provide that accommodation to people if and only if we're able to maintain our safety protocols that we have in place. One other important thing to note is patients with minors. So if they have children or grandchildren, they can't leave the children unattended in the waiting room in instances when the support person is also the supervisor of those minors, sorry. So they can only, go to the back if they have supervision for those kids. And I think this should be extremely minimized because we do have protocols in place where there's no to limited guests in the waiting room. So definitely want to keep this top of mind. And I'll just finish by saying, patients may designate a person of their choosing to be the support person. Although in many cases, patients will provide medical documentation as proof of the need of a support person, but no person should be denied access to their appointment if the patient doesn't have that proof that they require a support person. Again, this has been put in place because there are a couple of hospital systems where this was not sort of viewed in their favor, and legal disputes are pending against them. And so we just want to make sure we get this information out to the team proactively to show that we are providing the best guidance possible. And then lastly, as I started, all this information can be found on SharePoint under the Information Hub. We'll send this information out electronically as well on the weekly communications. But if you can keep this top of mind, keep it in front of the teams, and just touch base with the office managers and teams to just make sure that this remains top of mind, we really appreciate it.
So I'll just double down on one thing that you mentioned, Rodney, only because in that update regarding we're keeping our safety standards and the social distancing and patients having to wear masks, and we all have to wear masks regardless of vaccination, et cetera, especially in states that have already started to release indications that taking away requirements for masks in public and in public settings and in restaurants, et cetera. Our office standards are going to remain in place to make sure, out of abundance of caution, we're continuing to keep safety standards at the same level. So I'm sure we're going to start to get those questions. Florida, Texas, I heard Ohio's about to release kind of a announcement that the mask wearing and other criteria are going to start being relieved. So we are not going to lighten up any of our safety protocols, screening patients, social distancing, et cetera. And we'll keep everybody updated. That was a great update and all really important points. Let's go ahead and see if Dr. Isbell and Dr. Carr can put their cameras on. Trent, if we can get them set up. And I will allow them to take it from here. And Dr. Carr, once she is live and ready, we'll hand things off. Both are on. Awesome. All right. So, Dr. Carr, thank you for helping to facilitate and lead tonight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so excited to be here with everyone. I apologize in advance if you hear little humans screaming in the background. Someone's losing it out there, and I've locked myself in the bedroom, and I know that Destiny is in her guest room. We basically have just like held ourselves hostage away from everyone. So if you hear any weird background noises or screaming and just madness, I apologize.
You guys are awesome. Thank
All
you.
right.
I know this is bedtime for the kids, so it can't be easy to split off to do
Yeah.
tonight's
Also,
stuff.
I'm a little IT challenged, so just bear with me. Slide.
We got it.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm so excited to be here tonight. Thank you so much for the invitation. My name is Farah Carr. I am an orthodontist in Atlanta, and I am also I have a background in art, so I'm a little artsy fartsy when I surround myself with all these super smart, like type A doctor types. I'm like, who are you people? Because my world is like neck tattoos and like purple hair, and those are the people that I really spent many years going to school with. I've been a partner since 2018. I'm going to be talking later in the program about a case, an orthodontic case that I would typically do with braces, but instead did with aligners. And specifically, I used Invisalign. But I want to just mention that I really enjoy using aligners versus braces. And so that will be a part of my presentation. And I'm also an ambassador for WIN, Women in Dentistry, because we, like Dr. Matta mentioned, becoming a growing dominant part of the industry. And I am passionate about making sure that every female coming into this amazing field can really meet their full potential. So with that, just a little bit about me. I just entered my 40s. I turned 40 end of January. I'm super excited to join that club. Oddly enough, I've been waiting to turn 40 for a very long time. I've been married to my amazing husband for the past 12 years. And I am a mother to a 2.5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, Miss Aria and Emma, who are basically take up like the vast majority of my heart. And my mission is to inspire happiness. That is something that we came up with, my team and I, and that's what we basically try to do every day when we come into work. My presentation is going to be pretty short because I've got exactly 32 minutes with you guys, but I'm going to be doing a short and sweet, very casual interview with Dr. Destiny. And I'm going to then do a case presentation. And then if there's time for questions, we're going to take it from there. Destiny, just tell me if I'm pronouncing this right. It's now Isbell, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So Dr. Isbell is a general dentist. She's been a general dentist for 8 years, and she's been a partner since 2018. And she just embodies fantabulousness. If you meet Destiny, you just know she is just super down to earth, tell you like it is, girl. And we love that about her. She's also a wifey and a mom to little Miss Charlotte, who's 2.5, and Parker, who's 7 months old. Can we all just take a moment and look at Charlotte's face? Like, that's everything to me. When you ask people to take a natural smile for orthodontic photos, this is usually what I get, and I love it. Those cheeks are everything. So, okay, let's go. We're gonna chat. So this is gonna be just super cash and raw. I'm gonna just ask you the question, Destiny, and whatever comes to mind, go with it, okay?
Okay.
So tell us first why, like, how did you get interested in dentistry of all the fields?
Okay. So the non-dental school like application answer is I actually was not interested in dentistry at first. I thought I wanted to get into medicine. I actually wanted to be a general surgeon. I'm very good with my hands, which works in my favor. And I decided very young in my life that I did not want to be poor anymore. So that's the non-dental school answer part. I grew up very poor, so I knew I wanted something that would give me financial support. So naturally, I kind of gravitated towards medicine. Neither of my parents graduated from high school, so it was kind of a big feat for me. And then when I got into the pre-med program, I just realized it was not really what I was thinking it was. I volunteered a lot of hours, and it seemed like a lot of really, really late nights, being away from your family, things like that. And then I happened to volunteer at the Good Samaritans Clinic in Atlanta that has not only a medical side, but a dental side. Happened to come home on one of my Christmas breaks, and imagine all of the pre-med majors trying to get in volunteer hours. They were full on the medical side. And they said, why don't you hop over to the dental side? They need some help. And I fell in love. I met another female dentist. She told me how you can still work with your hands, you can help people, you can change their lives. And the nice thing is no late hours. You're still on call somewhat, but it also provides a lot of financial security. So I kind of quickly started researching, doing a lot of stuff, volunteering at a lot of dental clinics, and then shifted from pre-med to pre-dental pretty quickly.
So when you were like, let's say a new grad now, whatever, like undergrad or even as a just finishing dental school, what are some things that you're dealing with, that you were just like, I didn't give this a whole lot of thought when I had first graduated, but it's a big part of your, success, whether, it's challenges or just anything.
I think that they don't tell you how hard this job is on a daily basis. But I think especially for women, when you first come out of dental school, it's especially challenging because there's kind of this stigma that the dentist is a man. And so when I came out, I was only 26. I was really, really young. I already have a young looking face. So the second I stepped into the room, there was kind of this stigma of, oh, when's the doctor coming in, regardless of how I introduced myself. And so it took a long time to foster those relationships enough with patients and kind of build a reputation where people really trust and valued my opinion and the things that I was telling them. And I think that that's something that they do not focus enough on in really fostering women in this field, especially when you're a dentist and maybe not. The expectation is that when you walk in the room, maybe you're the hygienist or you're the assistant, is that it takes a lot more work on our side to break those stigmas with patients and make them understand that we're doctors too.
Absolutely. Building that relationship, building that trust, changing the image of what they expected to see. It takes so much time.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up. What are some women in history that have inspired you?
If we're going like famous people,
It doesn't matter. Whoever.
If we're going famous people, I would say people, standard Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Sally Ride, Sandra Day O'Connor. I mean, the big people that really kind of broke through and were the first. But I would have to say I'm less inspired by famous women than I am with everyday women who have really inspired me or impacted me. Some of my teachers, some of my professors, my mom, who was a single mother that worked two or three jobs, people that really inspired me on a daily basis to become the woman that I am. Of course, I like all the famous people, they've done a lot of great things, but I'm less inspired by them than I am the normal people.
This came up a couple of weeks ago. I had a high school student ask me this question. I was like, gosh, that is like such a great question. She was like, what advice would you give the high school version of yourself that you wish someone would have given you when you were in high school? That now looking back, you're like, gosh, I wish someone would have told me when I was in high school, blah, 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 blah. She's like, I want to hear that advice now. So what advice would you give a high school student?
Stop trying to impress everyone. Be authentic, be kind, be giving and generous. No one is going to care in 10 or 15 years if you were the most popular person on the planet.
Yeah.
They're gonna see who you've grown to be, and genuineness and kindness will get you way further in this world than popularity ever will.
Absolutely. That's what I told her. I said, embrace your uniqueness.
Yeah.
Embrace what makes you not fit in with everybody else. The key to success when you're doing a word association exercise is to literally give it zero thought. I'm going to say a word, and the very first word that comes to your mind or phrase or whatever, you just spew it out. Okay? Like, I don't want you to think about this, Destiny. Okay? Promise? And no one's going to judge you. Everybody that's on this call, Pinky, swear that you're not going to judge. Okay, here we go. Ready? Okay. Teeth.
Chewing.
Health.
Wealth.
Joy.
Happiness.
Anxiety.
Every day.
Cupcakes.
Yummy.
Algebra.
Ugh.
Plaque.
Tartar.
Leadership.
I want to say so much about leadership. First word, leadership, strength.
Good. Snow.
Freezing.
Love.
Husband.
Strength.
Mothers.
Caffeine.
Necessity.
Happiness.
My children.
Grateful.
Every day.
Vacation.
A must.
Conflict.
I hate it.
Confidence.
I got a lot of it.
Yes, girl. Green.
Money.
COVID.
Ugh.
Obsessed.
Determined, maybe.
Okay. All right. I want to hear what your thoughts are on leadership. And also, because with Wind, we're going to be embracing really trying to build leadership and do leadership training. So what are your thoughts on leadership in general and leadership specifically for you and the work that you do?
So I guess for me, I really like to lead by example. I would not ask any person on my team to do anything that I would not do. That includes taking out the trash, cleaning the operatories, taking x-rays. I know I don't take a lot of x-rays. My assistants do that, but there is nothing that I am so high and mighty that I would not do in my office. And I think it's showing people that you have to lead by example. They always say, servant leadership. And I think that I am only as strong as a leader as the weakest person on my team. So it's really important for me to foster strength in my team members. I don't need to be better than them. I need to be as good as they are. And that's really the leadership philosophy that I want to have. I think not being greedy and being generous to our patients and just really fostering care for them. And again, I just think leadership, you have to lead by example. You can't lead by fear. You can't, make people hate coming to their job every day. I always say my office is like my family. I think it's why we have a really low turnover rate in our office. A lot of my staff have been with me since we opened our doors, and I want to continue to grow our family and grow our team and grow our success in our practice. But I really think you have to lead, I would say, from the back, not even from the front, because you need to elevate the people who maybe need to find their strengths, because you are only as good as your weakest team member.
Dr. Andrew, did you have some questions you wanted to follow up with?
That was actually one very inspirational to listen to that really, quick interview. I feel like we could do 10 segments with the two of you guys just talking about how you see your lives in the world. But if I could just kind of ask you both just one question as it relates to women in our field. How do you see women's role in dentistry continuing to evolve in 2031? Like where do you see, women and the growth? Because now today, women are graduating more so than males. I think that was a couple of years ago, and it just continues to trend in that direction. So if you don't mind, just each of you guys just kind of sharing how you guys see our industry and your role in it over the next 10 years.
I think having women in leadership roles is really important. One person in organized dentistry that I really look up to is Maxine Feinberg. I mean, she's done a lot for organized dentistry and for women. But you don't often see women in these big leadership roles, either state or even ADA, or in our case, the GDA. I actually was really honored to get mentored when I was trying to get into dental school by a former president of the GDA, Donna Moses, and she's fantastic. And it's hard for women to get in those leadership roles in an industry that was traditionally run by men. So I see them stepping into those places. I see it becoming a more family-friendly environment, and just really having women kind of have their voices be heard, because there's a lot of, I think, difficulties that we have to overcome in order to, kind of make our way up the ranks in a traditional male environment.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with everything that Destiny just said. I would add that, other than wanting and hoping to see more women in positions of leadership, sitting at the table making decisions, I think that inherently, like I'm literally in this phase right now where I just because having a uterus and having to be the one between my husband and I to be pregnant and do that, there's so much right now with having two small kids that I feel like I want to do, but in this chapter I feel like I need the village to constantly like support me in it, and I feel like because of that, you're going to see a little bit more flexibility in just not just the scheduling part of things, but just in general in the industry, so that women can come in and live their their professional passion, but also be able to if they choose to have a family, start a family and do all those things they want to do. Because what I am finding is I've always been a very independent person and just I could get it done. I feel like right now I can't. Like I need the help. I need support. I need my team to understand that by me changing my hours, I can spend a few more hours with the babies before they go to bed, and them working with me on stuff like that. And so I think flexibility and just changing that traditional model in every way possible is going to change the more women come into the field. And I think it's going to be for the better.
I'm so grateful to listen to both of you guys share that vision, and really grateful, Dr. Carr, that you're leading the women in dentistry within our diversity and inclusion, and seeing where that grows and goes. And I know that that's going to be influential in a massive way, not just for NADG, but to help those two main points, creating a difference, in our work environment, creating that flexibility, whether it's office share environments to create better balance, whether it's, the leadership imbalance is real for sure. It was years before we had our first, female entrepreneurial partner, and it's more and more now, and it's exciting to have partners come in like Dr. Giraldo and others that started and built their practices and kind of brought them in, and now we have several. So I'm just so excited. And women as dentists, but women in dentistry, we have Kristen Kearns as our COO. We've got Teresa Hammond as our chief marketing officer. It's exciting to have women sit at our leadership table, and exciting to see that continue to grow and expand from here. So thank
Absolutely.
you for leading that, and I'm so grateful for what you guys are doing.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much, Doc. I appreciate you so much. So I appreciate you so much. And thank you so much for joining us. Whoop, whoop. And that's my Atlanta Smile Queen hook if you want to.
And just really so thankful for you guys to share your life, your experiences, and what women are doing today in the industry and where you're going. So
thank you, Andrew. And thank you so much, Destiny. And thank you for everyone who joined in tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Cause we got to get it wrong. Mary J is in the spot tonight, and I'ma make you feel alright. Come on, baby, just party with me. Let loose and set your body free.